Has your week gotten off to a little bit of a rough start? Maybe Monday was just so bad it's bleeding over into Tuesday? Well, today we're going to talk about 10 things that you can do to boost your mood and make this week a little bit better. They're simple, direct, and something you can put into action today. So let's jump in and get started. Do you want to achieve your goals, but anxiety is tripping you up? Like to keep those fun weekend plans, but depression has you counseling again? Hey, I'm Lori, dog mom, lover of nature, and hygge enthusiast. Positive psychology skills help me overcome chronic severe PTSD. If you're ready to learn how to overcome your anxiety and depression and rediscover happiness and purpose in life, then get your cozy on and let's get started. I am so excited to announce that we are officially on YouTube. Woohoo! The link to the channel is in the comments below. You can also just go into YouTube and do a search for practical solutions for PTSD. You might have to scroll down a little bit, but we're there. And you can listen, like, share, comment. I'm super excited to hear from you guys on here and hoping this will reach a new audience. There's also our Facebook community. The link is also in the comments, as well as our newsletter. I'm looking forward to connecting with you on those. Super excited. Today we're going to talk about 10 things you can do to boost your mood. We have made it past the dreaded Monday, right? We're firmly into Tuesday and on into the rest of the week. Let's talk about some things that you can do to boost your mood when you may be down in the dumps a little bit. These are intentional. They're all good for you. They're healthy. They'll help build resilience. Yay! So let's jump in and get started. One is to spend time with friends and family. This is a fantastic way to help boost your mood and to help build some connection, to build that social network. We just came off a Sunday just a couple days ago. I hope y'all took some time to spend with your church family and friends as you gather together to worship. Worship is another great way to build your resilience and to boost your mood, but that's not one of the 10 we're going to talk about today. But it is a good way to do that. But spend some time with friends and family. Research shows that connection with others is essential for our mental and emotional well-being. It's very important. I've stressed this a lot recently, so I'm not going to get into it a whole lot. But we are social creatures. We were made for community, and to be able to build that social network, that social support system is very critical when you have those low times, because they'll be there to help you with that and to celebrate the good times. So spend some time with friends and family. It's a great decompressor, great mood booster. Have some fun. Have a great time. Another one is to take a walk outside. Yay! This is probably my absolutely favorite form of exercise. I love hiking through the woods, down by the water. It's just absolutely beautiful around nature where you can enjoy nature and get some exercise all at the same time. Moving your body is a fantastic way to de-stress. I had a doctor tell me one time it's much better to run it out than it is to keep it in. This is when I was training for a 5K. So it's really good benefit to be able to exercise, and it helps you if you have a goal to accomplish for that exercise, for taking that walk outside. When you're achieving that goal, that can boost your dopamine, which is also a great way to do that. It changes up your environment. It doesn't have to be super long. It could just be 10 minutes. 10 minutes can make a difference, especially if you do like 3 10-minute sessions throughout the day. Helps break up your day. You can reach that 30 minutes of exercise, which is good for us, and you don't have to do it all at once. You can just do 10 minutes. So a fantastic way to do that. Number 3 is to spend some time with a pet. And you could couple this with doing your walk outside if you want to. But spending time with a pet is a fantastic way to boost your mood. They've had scientific studies that prove that if you spend just a little bit of time petting a cat or dog or whatever animal, horse, whatever animal it may be, that you're petting, that it actually helps decrease your stress levels. It drops your cortisol. And part of that is because you're thinking about something or somebody other than yourself. And there's also the comfort of contact, especially if you can snuggle with that animal. Some animals I would not recommend snuggling with. But snuggling can also boost your mood through increasing of certain hormones that are triggered by snuggling. So spending time with a pet and enjoying that is a great way to boost your mood. A really critical one is something that we are typically very short on, including myself. I will self-disclose here. Sleep. Sleep is so, so, so important for boosting your mood. Now, I want to do some podcasts in the future about sleep to educate those of y'all that don't know. But they typically recommend you get 5 sleep cycles a night. Those first 4 cycles, they are meant and intended to repair your body. So this is where your muscles will be repairing for any exhaustion, whatever is going on in your body. This is the time for your body to repair that. That last cycle is where it repairs the brain. So there's a chemical that releases in the brain that flushes out toxins, but that doesn't happen until you hit that 5th sleep cycle. So it's super important to get a full night's sleep, if at all possible, to really work on that, to give your body time to repair itself and to rebuild, and make sure your brain is getting that time to detox and to be able to reset some of those hormones and to boost that. Makes a huge difference when you've had enough sleep. So making sure that you're getting 7 to 8 hours, if you need it 9 hours, make that a priority. It's also important to have a schedule where you're setting your circadian rhythm. So you're putting down your screens, walking away from your screens 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed to decrease that blue light exposure. Getting to bed at the same time, getting up at the same time helps set your circadian rhythm. Another thing that helps with circadian rhythm is if you have sunlight within the first 30 minutes of getting up. And yes, I know we're headed into winter where that's not always possible. But what helps is having a happy light. So if you have a happy light or a dawn, a DAWN, if you have a dawn alarm clock, this also will help. But getting some of that sunlight first thing in the morning will help set that circadian rhythm. And as I've already said, this is something I need to work on, and it's one of my targets for this week. So yay, let's get some more sleep. It really helps with mood. So number 5 is to declutter. Now, I'm not a full-on pack rat, but I do tend more that direction than I am. Definitely not a minimalist. Long ways from a minimalist. But a couple years ago, I was like, I just have too much stuff. This is ridiculous. I need to get rid of stuff. And so I came home and just started sorting and pitching and cleaning, and literally, this was the interesting thing for me, is literally as I cleaned and donated stuff to people, either directly to individuals or to thrift stores or just pitched stuff, I felt a weight coming off of my chest. There was less stuff I had to deal with, and that was such an amazing feeling. Just getting rid of the stuff was a huge mood booster. What was also a huge mood booster for me was being able to bless someone else with it. So, for instance, I went through a huge pile of clothes and a bunch of stuff. I got rid of bags and bags of them. And I was able to connect with a friend of mine from college, and she and her daughters were right in that size of the clothes I was getting rid of, and she took a whole bunch of them. There's also someone in our church who had just moved here and was needing clothes. They were able to get a whole bunch of them from there, and they're still in really good shape. And she was able to take a bunch of clothes. I was getting rid of some bed stuff, and there was a family that, like a friend of a friend, who had been through a fire, lost everything, and I was able to give them some supplies that I was getting rid of. And that was just so exciting for me, and it was such a blessing and a huge mood booster. And it really is a greater blessing to give than to receive. And so I just had a great time giving stuff away and having a wonderful time. This is an opportunity, if you want to be able to sell stuff and make a little bit of extra cash. I did not go that direction. A lot of reasons, mostly was just time and space to do it in. But decluttering, it creates a more peaceful environment, so you don't have all this clutter everywhere. It relieves the stress of how much stuff you have to deal with, and it can also be a blessing to give it to others, which is really cool. And it's something I'm still working on. I'm not completely finished, but man, I'm a lot further down the road than I used to be. Another one is to create a practice of journaling. And you can use journaling to target specific goals that you have in your life. And one thing, I'm going to be setting up some coaching here really quick, right around the corner. It's not going to be too long out. But one of the things we're going to talk about is gratitude journaling and how important that is to be able to adjust your mindset when you're doing some gratitude journaling. But it can also be a way for you to externalize the emotions that you're dealing with. So if there's something that's really stressing you out, you're struggling with depression, anxiety, whatever, to be able to externalize that onto a piece of paper can be very helpful. It can provide a little bit of distance. It's a way of processing the information. Now, this isn't for everybody, but for those that it is for, this is a very effective way of helping you to boost your mood. Is to create a practice of journaling. Now, one thing is if you're journaling something that's very traumatic, you may want to be careful about going back and reading it after you're done, because that can actually become a trigger point for you. So just a word of caution. But journaling there's scientific proof behind it. There's a lot of benefit behind journaling. Some of it's just the action of writing it out. But externalizing it is hugely beneficial and can help you boost your mood. Another one that can be lots of fun is indulging in pampering. Just taking a little bit of time and pamper yourself. And this could be as simple as a cup of coffee in the afternoon that you're just really enjoying. Take 5 minutes to just sit down and savor that cup of coffee. It could be indulging in a bath with scented whatever, bath soaps or salts or whatever, and just taking some time to pamper yourself. Going for a mani-pedi. Whatever it could be, just something that you would consider pampering. One thing I really enjoy doing is getting a facial. Oh my word, it is so relaxing. I love getting facials. But whatever it is that relaxes you, just kind of indulge in a little bit of pampering. It could be a huge mood boost. It could be a stress reliever. So a great way to do that. And it take a little bit of time to spend on yourself. A great one that I really enjoy, and have enjoyed more or less throughout the years, depending on where I was at that time, is reading. Reading is a fantastic way to boost your mood. Obviously, you want to select what kind of book you need. If you're wanting to boost your mood, I wouldn't recommend going for a horror story or super scary mystery. They might have might be a little counterproductive there. But there's something about actually reading a book. And personally, I have found this more effective if I'm reading a actual paper book or something on Kindle that's like your, I guess called e-ink, but it looks like an actual book, and it doesn't have the blue light with it. So blue light can actually cause stress. So trying to avoid some of that and taking some time to read a magazine, a book, whatever that may be. But it uses a different part of your brain than you use to problem solve. And there was a while there that I was having some serious issues with brain fog and anxiety and depression. And when I had to go through a meeting or a problem at work where I was having to use a lot of my problem solving skills, it would just exhaust my brain until I could hardly function. And one of the best things I could do is just take a break and read for about 15 minutes. And I could literally feel the weight lifting off of my brain. It was the oddest feeling. It was so weird. But I could actually feel the difference in my brain as I used a different part of it and I read. Now it would just be something light and entertaining that I was reading. It wasn't something I had to do a lot of thinking about because my thinking part of my brain was already tired. But just reading something light and fun and engaging was enough to lift the weight off of my brain as I used a different part of my brain to do that. Another thing that was very closely related to, and would also be another way for you to boost your mood, is adult coloring. There's some people are like, what? Coloring? Yes, it can be so helpful and so relaxing just to start. One, it can really boost that creativity, can really boost your mood, being creative. The colors can also be a boost to your dopamine. But also just doing something that's relaxing, creative, using, again, a different part of the brain than your problem-solving part. It can really help you to boost your mood. And I used to do that as well when I was so exhausted mentally I couldn't focus. There was one year in particular, I think it was the year I missed church for the longest. I wasn't in church for like 5 months, but I couldn't stand people. I couldn't hardly handle being around them. It was just bad. But I would color, and that would really help me to move forward through that and help relieve some of that brain fog, relieve some of that anxiety by just being able to put myself in a different place where I was disconnecting from all the stress and just having fun with something super creative, and it was just really enjoyable. So number 10 is to practice positive affirmations. And yes, I know this can be a little cliched at times, but it can also be super helpful. And you can take this multiple directions. So basically, this is a time where you're going to be talking and with kindness and encouragement to yourself. Very similar to how you would talk to a friend who was going through it. We are so often caught up in negative self-talk, and I want to do a podcast on that and get into it a little bit more, but negative self-talk can be very destructive. And it's a way we would never talk to someone else. If our best friend or just an acquaintance was going through the exact same thing that you're going through right now, would you talk to them that way? I know I wouldn't. So being able to practice some positive affirmations, and this could be a quote that really rings a bell with you. One of them that I have said to myself over and over for years is keep moving forward. There's been so many times I'd be trying, and then you just hit that slope and you're falling down, and it's like 1 step forward, 5 steps back. You just keep trying. You just keep working at it. Keep moving forward. You don't stop. You may not have been a complete success today, but you can pick yourself up and try again tomorrow. Just keep moving forward. This could also be a favorite scripture verse or a promise that God has given you. And there is one that he gave me at the beginning of this year. Says, God is in the midst of her, she shall not be moved, from Psalms. And I wrote that off. It's actually on my vision board right now as a good reminder that God is standing by my side and walking through this huge change in my life. God has been walking with me through it. So you can find an affirmation. You are enough. You can do this. Be positive, look up, you're ready for this, whatever that may be. Or you can also choose a promise that God has given you and meditate on that, think about that, say it to yourself, stand in front of the mirror and give yourself a pep talk. Give yourself a pep talk as you stand in front of the mirror and remind yourself that you have this. You got it. With God's help, with his strength, you can do this and you can conquer and get on the other side. So 10 fun, easy, simple ways to boost your mood. Spend time with friends and family, take a walk outside, snuggle with the pet, make sure you're getting enough sleep, declutter, journal, indulge in pampering, read a bit more, adult coloring, and practice positive affirmations. So just choose one that you want to work on this week and make sure that you're incorporating it and making a difference in your life, boosting your mood a little bit, encouraging yourself along the way. David in the Psalms said that he would encourage himself in the Lord. And yes, I know sometimes you feel like you really can't do that. That it's not really possible because you're a little bit too far down. But just take one little step in the right direction and it'll compound, it'll snowball and get a little bit better. Just a quick reminder, we are now on YouTube. Woohoo! So you can get the channel link in the comments below, as well as a link to our Facebook community and our newsletter sign up. Hey, my friend, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you please take 30 seconds and share it with someone you know who may be struggling with depression and anxiety? Also, would you please leave a quick review for the show? Knowing how this podcast is helping you fills my heart with so much joy, and it motivates me for future episodes. For now, it's time for Sam and I to head outside to enjoy some sunshine and fresh air. We'll see you back here on Tuesdays and Thursdays for more great episodes.